Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Likes Books. Today I have another book review for a duology from the Star Wars The New Jedi Order series, which are books, I believe, 12 and 13, which are Rebel Dream and Rebel Stand, both by Aaron Allston. This is the fourth or fifth duology of New Jedi Order. There's quite a few duologies in this series. And quite late in the series as well. I'm over the halfway point now, which is exciting. So these are ones that I was really looking forward to because some friends of mine, as well as other people in general, really seemed to enjoy these two books. I was not as huge of a fan of the last book in the series, which was Dark Journey. It was a pretty decent book, but it wasn't amazing. But I did hear a lot of good things about both Aaron Allston in general, as well as this specific duology. And so I was very excited for it. And I would say these two books, both individually and collectively, are probably among my favorites in the series. I think especially the second book I really enjoyed a lot. So, to get started talking about this, I'll talk a bit about the books individually and then kind of collectively, or maybe the other way around, I'm not sure. This duology basically deals with, in general, the overarching plot line of the duology is on a planet called Borleus, which the New Republic and the Yuuzhan Vong are fighting in and around that planet. And so that's kind of the main plot overarching both of these books. You also have Jaina Solo, who went off and kind of did her own thing in Dark Journey, who comes back in these two books and works with everyone else, and they're trying to do some stuff with her in relation to the Yuuzhan Vong as well, trying to get them to basically she and Jason Solo, her brother, are twins, and the Yuuzhan Vong are very interested in that, and so they're trying to kind of find a way to make that work in order to help them defeat the Yuuzhan Vong. In addition to that, in the first book, you have Luke, who is getting some Force visions about stuff going on Coruscant, which, spoilers for Star by Star, has been taken by the Yuuzhan Vong. I'm going to be spoiling some of the previous books, by the way. Not much, probably, but yeah. Star by Star, Coruscant got taken over by the Yuuzhan Vong. So he sees some visions of stuff going on there, and he's like, we need to go there. But they're like, no, it's been taken over, that's dangerous, and all that kind of stuff. And then in the second book, he actually goes on that mission, along with Mara Jade and some other people. So that's kind of the overarching plot lines of these books in general. And I really enjoyed the overall plot of these books, especially the second book, but really both of them was very interesting. I really enjoyed Jaina Solo's parts in both of these books a lot. Her plotline in there, and then Luke's as well, Luke and Mara's. The Borleus stuff didn't quite grab me quite as much. That was a lot of Wedge and some other characters. But the Jaina stuff and the Luke and Mara stuff I did really enjoy in both of these. And especially in the second book, I think, with Luke and Mara and others going to Coruscant was very interesting. I also really enjoyed, as far as plot lines, I really enjoyed Leia and Han in the second book, who are going to different planets to try to do some diplomacy and things like that as far as the Yuuzhan Vong invasion, trying to make sure people don't want to join them and stuff, which was quite interesting. I also really enjoyed the character stuff in these books, of course, especially the character interactions. Jaina Solo was apart from the rest of the crew for one or two books, and she reunites with everybody in these books, which was really fun. One thing I really liked about these books, actually, in terms of characters, is these two feel very much like ensemble books. And I feel like that sounds like an obvious thing because a lot of books in this series are ensemble books. But when it comes to the duologies, I feel like either one or both of the books in each given duology so far have been focused primarily or heavily on one character. Agents of Chaos duology? I can't remember. I feel like the first book of that duology focused heavily on Han. The second book focused heavily on Leia. You have the duology right before Star by Star, where the first book focused heavily on Anakin, the second book focused heavily on Anakin and then also other people. This duology, both books were very much ensemble books, which I actually really enjoyed. It gave it kind of its own unique feel. that I enjoyed. And yeah, the characters themselves I did really like. I really liked Jaina in this duology. Jaina is one of those characters where she's very popular, obviously. She's one of the most popular Legends characters. But I have never quite gotten into her. I always enjoy seeing her, but she's never been one of my favorites. But I did really enjoy her in this duology, as well as others like Kip Duron, I think especially in the first book. I enjoyed Han and Leia a lot in the second book, and Wedge as well. Wedge is another one of those characters that I've never really seen the huge appeal of. I always, again, enjoy seeing him, but he's never been a favorite. But I did really enjoy him in both of these because he's more of a central character in these two books, and I thought he was pretty cool. And I really enjoyed the Yuuzhan Vong as well across both of these books. One of my favorite things in the New Jedi Order series in general is seeing the Yuuzhan Vong and seeing their culture, seeing the different people within their culture, and what they're like and all that stuff. And these two books feature Yuuzhan Vong quite heavily. Obviously, you're primarily focusing on the good guys, so to speak, the New Republic characters. But you do get quite a bit of Yuuzhan Vong in this as well, and I really enjoyed that. And as well, another character that I really liked was actually from the first book, which I can't remember the name of the character. I want to say it was Tam or something like that, who basically was being somewhat mind-controlled by the Yuuzhan Vong, and his stuff was really, really interesting, and I really enjoyed that. And lots of good character stuff in these two books, basically, as well as good plot stuff. I really enjoyed the action in these books as well. There's a lot of space action. There's a lot of on-the-ground action. The ending of the second book has a big battle, as these books often tend to end with. You know, each given duology or single book often ends with some big battle going on, which the second book does have, and I really enjoyed that. It felt very cinematic, very epic, very action-packed and exciting, which was pretty impressive to me because I tend to not be super into space battles in Star Wars books. For me, space battles in Star Wars works much better in a visual medium than a written medium for some reason. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but that's how it is for me. But I really enjoyed the space battle at the end of this book. To say another thing about the second book, there is a plot line when Luke and Mara and all of them go to Coruscant. There's this stuff going on with this guy who is being possessed in a way, who thinks that he's this guy named Lord Nyax. That was very interesting, that I really enjoyed. It was a little tough for me to swallow at first because some of the stuff going on with that kinda felt a little weird to me, maybe a bit hard to believe, I guess. And when I started reading about this guy in this book, it kind of made me laugh a little because I had seen pictures of him on like Wikipedia and stuff, and I didn't realize that was the same character until I was reading this. And that character's design is interesting. Go check it out on Wikipedia if you have not before, because it's interesting. But yeah, that stuff was pretty interesting. I wish they had maybe gone a little further with it, explored that a little more, because I thought it was really interesting. And I don't know if it's going to be explored any further in the series. I assume it probably won't. It seemed to be wrapped up pretty well in this book, but I really would like to see more of that, but it's probably not going to happen. But I did really enjoy that. So in terms of negatives with these books, there wasn't a whole lot. I would say that some of the plot stuff in the first book of the duology didn't grab me as much as the second book. In general, I do think the first book is a little weaker. Not necessarily that it was bad or anything, it just didn't grab me quite as heavily. But I did really enjoy both of these books, so that's not really a huge issue. And that's pretty much all I got to say about these. So overall, I did really enjoy this duology. I think it's probably one of the stronger duologies in New Jedi Order so far. Out of the 4, I think, that I have read so far, I think it's 4 duologies that I've gone through so far. I would say these are some of the stronger ones. I would say probably would be my second favorite duology behind the one before Star by Star, the Anakin Solo duology. Probably my second favorite duology so far, I would say. Especially the second book, I think, really helped with that. I liked both of these, but the second book is definitely a standout in the series in general. Probably one of my favorite books in the series. As far as a rating out of 10 that I would give these, I think I would give Rebel Dream an 8 out of 10 and Rebel Stand a 9. I really enjoyed both of these a lot, and yeah. So that is pretty much it for this review. Let me know in the comments what you thought of these books if you have read them and the rest of the series and all that kind of stuff. I am very excited to continue with this. I intend to read the next book, Traitor, next. In fact, I'm probably going to be starting that tomorrow at the time I'm recording this. So I'm very excited for that and excited to continue this series. So that is pretty much it for this video. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.